Hi, this is Coach Taylor from SmarterTeamTraining.com. I have the pleasure to speak with Boyd Epley, commonly known as the grandfather of strength and conditioning. I actually sent him a quick little message on LinkedIn, and I was ecstatic to hear from him back pretty quickly. Again, if you reach out to people in this business, the good ones are going to be willing to help you. So, again, thank you very much, Coach, for taking some time out and sharing some information. Coach, if you wouldn't mind, tell us, how did you get involved in the industry, and what started all the things that you have done? I mean, from the bare bones beginning, how did it get going?
Well, actually, it was an accident. I was a pole vaulter at the University of Nebraska, and I hurt my back pole vaulting. I went to try to find the weight room to kind of rehabilitate that injury. The weight room was up some steps and in an area that was a very small little room off of the training room. They didn't have a strength coach, and it was about a 500 square foot area, so only a handful of people could get in there at one time. But I went about my business, and pretty soon I had football players follow me around the room doing the exercises that I was doing because they didn't have any instruction. And I noticed that they would wait until I got there each day to go through their routine. And so I helped them. We had fun and got to know them. And being a pole vaulter from Arizona, I didn't have too many friends in Nebraska. But these football players really appreciated me helping them. One day, the trainer came in, and he said, "There's a phone call for you, Epley." I said, who would be calling me? Nobody knows me here. I just arrived. And he said, "Get in here. It's Tom Osborne." So I took the call, and sure enough, it was Tom Osborne, who was not quite the head coach at that time. He was in waiting to be the head coach. Bob Devaney was the head coach and athletic director. But Tom said, "Are you the guy that's been helping these athletes, these football players that were injured? You've been showing them how to lift weights." I thought maybe I was in trouble, because at that time, in 1969, there weren't many programs around the country that were doing any lifting. In fact, there were coaches that were dead set against it. They thought it would cause muscle boundness or some kind of flexibility issues with athletes. So I said, "Yes, I'm the guy." He said, "Well, I'd like you to come to my office." I still didn't know if I was in trouble or not till I got there, and he asked me if I would be willing to help the entire football team. And I said, "Well, I'm just an athlete here. I'm finishing my junior year here." He said, "Well, can you help us or not?" So I said, "Well, yeah, I'd love to help you." But I said, "You don't have enough equipment. You don't have enough space." So he said, "Well, we could knock the wall down between where the weight room is now, and there's a classroom right next door." I said, "Well, then you wouldn't have enough equipment." He said, "Well, can you help us decide what we need?" And I said, "Sure." He said, "How soon?" I said, "I'll bring you a list tomorrow." And he kind of liked that I was going to be able to help him that quickly. So the next day I brought him a list of equipment, but I didn't put anything on there that was too fancy, just basic stuff, squat racks and benches and things that I knew they would need. But I didn't put dumbbells or pulleys or the extra supplementary things because I wasn't sure what the budget situation was. Anyway, he took a look at this list, handed it to the secretary, and said, "Order this." And I looked at him and I said, "Coach, I forgot to bring the second page." And he laughed, and he's a pretty sharp guy, and he said, "All right, bring me the second page tomorrow." So the next day I brought the other list of supplementary equipment, and he, again, handed it to the secretary and said, "Order this." But then he said, "Now we need to go in and see Bob." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, we need to go in and see Bob Devaney, the athletic director and head football coach, and explain to him what we just did." So here I found myself in front of Bob Devaney, well, probably the most powerful man in the state of Nebraska. And he looked at me and said, "Hi, Tom. Hi, Boyd. I've seen you in the weight room over there." So Devaney was a guy that liked to work out, and he had seen me over there and knew I was a track guy, but he had no idea what Tom wanted. So Tom told him we'd like to have Boyd help us have the football team lift weights. And he goes, "Why would we want to do that?" He said, "My friend Duffy Doherty at the Michigan State University, who's very successful, they don't lift weights. In fact, I don't know of anybody that lifts weights." So they both looked at me, and here I was in a position where I found myself trying to explain and sell my program, and I didn't really even have a program. but I was in a position where I had to convince them that this was a good idea, and I can't remember what I said word for word. It must have been something that said that your team will get faster and stronger and you'll win more games, something along that line. So Devaney looked at me right in the eye, and he pointed his finger right in my face, and he said, "All right, we'll give this a try, but if anyone gets slower, you're fired." Well, here I was, just a student. I wasn't even hired as an employee, but I sure felt the fear, and that caused me then to develop a program very quickly and put it in place. And one of the things that was really important and really helpful, and is still helpful to any program I've ever been involved with, is pre and post testing, because with that data I was able to show Coach Devaney and the other coaches that the athletes were actually getting faster.